Hey there, Algebra Kids. We are back in motion with our videos, so make sure your notebooks are ready to be filled with notes. You have a lot of terms that you're going to have to go over today and diagrams, so make sure that you're taking very detailed notes so you have all this information with you. We are on our second unit now, called Descriptive Statistics, and our first lesson in Unit 2 is about distributions and their shapes. So as always, we're starting with some vocabulary. You need to get down these 5 terms that are about, 3 of them are about different visual displays of data, and then the bottom 2 terms are about how we can describe that data. So a dot plot is a plot of each data point on a scale or number line. So if you have data, the dot plot would look like this, and you have numbers down here. And then for each set of data, let's say that this was number of people who have pets, and there's 4 people who have 2 pets, so you put 4 dots. 1 person has 3 pets, and 2 people have 4. You would do it like that. A histogram, you've seen before for sure, is, some call it a bar graph, but it's not. It is a bar graph that does not have spaces, and it groups data based on intervals. So the scale down here would be different ranges, and you're going to see an example for that as well. And then a box plot is a graph that provides a picture of the data ordered and divided into 4 quartiles that each contains approximately 25% of the data. So we're going to go into box plots a lot. But what they look like is you have a number line. Let's say that this is 0 and this is 10. And then you have a box, and the boxes have little things called whiskers, and they're divided. And each of these lines, so this line, and this line, represent quartiles. And then these dots on the whiskers represent the minimum and maximum. And then the final 2 terms are about left skew and right skew. And the skew is if data is not centered in the middle. So if you see, let's take example, a histogram, and you can see that most of the data in the histogram is on the left side of the histogram. The majority of data is here, and the tail is the smaller part, is on the right. That would be right skew. So whatever side of data, whatever side of the graph the data is on, the majority, let me rephrase that. Whatever side the tail is on of the data, not the majority, the smallest remnant of data, that's the skew. So if the tail is on the right, it's right skewed. If the tail was on the left over here, it's left skewed. I'm going to go into that in further slides, so if that was confusing, I will clarify it. So to read a dot plot, let's look at this dot plot. This dot plot says that it's viewer age. Viewer age, let's say they're watching a certain TV show. What age range would you say the majority of viewers in? So the first thing I'm going to do is go over skew. So it looks like the majority of data is on this side of the dot plot. And it looks like this side right here has a smaller part. So if I was to draw over this, you can see how it becomes a little hump over here. And this is the tail. We like to think of this as making it like a little whale shape. And the tail of the whale is on the left side. So this is a left skewed data. And all you're going to be doing in class for practicing is how to read the graph. So what age range would you say the majority of viewers in? Well, in dot plots, you look at whatever has the most dots because it shows that many people are that age. So it looks like there's about 9 people who are 71 years old who are watching the show, and it looks like the majority of people watching this show are between 60 and 75 years old. If you said 60 and 70, that wouldn't be wrong. If you said 65 to 70 time, 75, that wouldn't be wrong either. But you're looking at the range, and I say that range right there is what the age range that most viewers are in. Okay, reading a histogram is just another way of organizing data. We see that this histogram is about ages for the country of Kenya. And we're being asked what percent of the population is between 30 and 40 years old. And I see that we have percent on the side, so these bars measure up to a percent, and we have the age on the bottom. And like I said, histograms have a range. So this range right here would be 0 to 5. This is 0 to 10. This range right here is what we're going to look at for 30 to 40. But first, let's see if this is skewed. And I can see that it definitely is strongly skewed. And again, if this was our little whale, the tail right here is on the right skew, on the right. So this is right skewed data. And let's just look at what the percent of the population is between 30 and 40 in order to answer this question. So I have 30. This bar represents 30 to 35. I see about 8. And then this bar we still have to do between 35 and 40. And that's about 6. So I would say 14% of the population is between 30 and 40 years old in Kenya. Okay, reading a box plot. In box plots, there's quartiles, and quartiles represent a quarter of the data. So, and we're going to go into box plots a lot, but I'm just giving you an idea of it. There's 3 quartiles. The first quartile, and you should try to draw this and write down these two. That represents the first 25% of data. There's the second quartile that represents 50% of the data. And then there's the third quartile that represents 75% of the data, or the third 25. So this could be the second 25. It depends what you're being asked to do. And then the third 25%. So in a box plot, these lines represent the quartiles. So this would be the first quartile, this would be the second quartile, and this would be the third quartile. These whiskers right here represent your minimum value, and your maximum value. The second quartile is also your median, 50% of data. So what is the median number of pets that people own? If we look right here at our median line, we can see on the number line that it's 2 pets. And don't worry if you're having difficulty reading this box plot. We're going to work on it a lot in this unit. I'm just giving you an introduction to it now. Things to keep in mind in this unit. You will be doing a lot of writing and explaining yourself based on data that you're given. You must be able to explain yourself and support your argument mathematically. That is crucial to your success in this unit and this year. And don't rush through your answers. The most thoughtful answers earn the most credit in this unit. So make sure you're really looking at the data that you're given and really giving a thoughtful answer. So your hot question, I want you to look back at the histogram that shows the ages in Kenya and answer this question in your hot question. It can be a few sentences as long as you like, really. Just don't write a couple words. I'm not going to accept that. Why do you think there are so many more young people than older people in the country of Kenya? If you look back at the histogram, you can see, and I want you to make an inference on that.